Man, I'm just so proud of these kids. It's one of my favorite groups I've been with, and I know that's not saying they are. I mean, I've had so many favorite groups, but this group is really just a special group of kids that plays really well together. And we did go through a lot last year. We had a lot of injuries, we had a lot of different things happen, and what it did was it forced a lot of these guys into action before they were ready. But I think we're seeing the fruits of that now. These guys have a full year under their belt, the experience that they gained, and just the confidence that they were able to gain from that. And I'm just so proud of how they've responded, and I'm really proud of how they've led our younger kids and really elevated the talent level below them too. Yeah, the 2021 team, we still talk about that team all the time, is one of the most talented teams that we've ever had. Just phenomenal talent overall. And in the playoffs, they really gelled into a good team as well. And, that's the common denominator that we've seen from all of our state champion contender and winning teams is when those teams really get confident, and it's not that they're arrogant or cocky. You can just tell they really trust each other, and they finally believe that we're good enough to do this if we just play baseball the way we're taught and the way we've been playing all year and growing as the year's gone on. And I'm definitely seeing that from this group. And I told them that after week one. I said I'm starting to see a lot of the same traits that I saw in the ones that have won in the previous four. And it's just you can't explain it. It's just something you see, and it's a feeling you have. And last year was good, but there towards the end, I could kind of tell we'd kind of lost the mojo a little bit, and it kind of bit us there at the end. Well, one thing, about coaching is you have to adjust to what you have. And that group we had in 21 could bang the ball off the wall and in the gap constantly. We were pretty fast, but we could really smash the baseball. And this group, honestly, this group actually has more home runs than 21 did as a team. But they've done it by spreading it out throughout the lineup. And it's not just that. This group is really bought into what we've talked about using our speed. We're really fast, and it's not anything that's coach speak or trying to hide. I mean, people know we can really run. And so what we've tried to do is maximize our skill set. So if we get a single, we're trying to turn it into a double without giving you an out if we can, but we'll bunt if we need to, and we'll just keep moving runners and hope the guy behind you does his job, puts the ball in play, and we can just keep the line moving. Honestly, team chemistry, and just like you said, guys stepping up and guys buying into, we try to make sure they understand that the key thing with the team is you don't have to do it by yourself. And when everybody buys into their role and, you look around our field, it's really, our pitchers have done really well, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that we've been really good on defense. And, that goes from our catcher all the way to our infielders, all the way to the outfield. And, Raymond Bird's a first-year starter, and I had people all off-season, Coach, well, how are y'all going to replace your catcher? And I said, we've got a really good young kid that's ready to go, and he's been working and ready for his time. And, we get complimented about him all the time. And having somebody behind the dish that can, frame strikes and manage our pitching staff is huge, and he has done a fantastic job. And then around the infield, you've got guys that have started for multiple years. In the middle, you've got two Division I players, and you build through the middle. If you've got a good catcher, you've got two good middle infielders and a center fielder, you're going to be really good. And we're solid in all of those phases and then really good around them. So it's just all around the chemistry. We've got the bodies. We've got the guys that can play in those positions. And we're not having to play guys out of position. We've had to play hitters in the field before, and it wasn't exactly pretty. We were trying to find a way to play their bat. But now we can actually put a guy out there that can field it and hit it, and it's really, really paying off. Oh, they're a really good team. They've got some talented players. They've got one guy that's a top 10 in the state of Georgia draft for this upcoming draft. He's committed to Clemson. Really good left-handed hitting shortstop. They've got some good arms on the mound, young arm that's low to mid-90s at times, and some other guys that are very competitive. And they're a group that's pretty confident, and they're a place that they haven't been in a while. So, and I still remember what that's like, and you get really hungry, and it's exciting, and they're going to come in and battle for their hometown and try to make everybody proud, and we're excited about that challenge. I think we're going to travel well. There's been a huge response from the community, and the past couple of times we played in these venues it has, but I will say they're about an hour, a little over an hour away from their hometown. Mm-hmm. I expect them to fill the place up too. Those places get really loud, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that the good news is the majority of our team's been there before. They know exactly what it feels like, so it's not going to be something that overwhelms them. So I expect us to travel. So. Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. I don't know. It might have been Nick Saban or one of those that said, the only reason that you fear failure is because you're not prepared, kind of thing. And we've been preparing all year, and that's kind of been our message throughout the playoffs. When things have, we've had some tight games, maybe late, and all of a sudden we pull away. It's reminding them the reason we played hard schedule and the reason that we failed in some games was so that we'd be ready for these moments, and not trying to make the game bigger than it is, but relying on the guy beside you, and just making sure that you kind of handle your part. And if we do that, we're going to be just fine. just very blessed and excited to be back in the championship. It's just, knowing that it's not something that happens every day. That we're just, like I said, very honored, and God's definitely blessed us. That's what I had another coach text me yesterday, and he's been to the state championship before, and I said, you know what it feels like, and he said, we'll put it this way: if it was a drug, I'd be in trouble, and it's the truth. You play to hope to get an opportunity at it again, and just to have a fifth chance is really special.